Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today on the season 2 of Holistic True Wealth. And I'm Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger, and I'm doing this in collaboration with Mupo TV, part of Mupo Entertainment. So, as the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness and a certified holistic wealth coach, I am of the belief we all should be living a life of abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially today. And as a certified holistic coach, I am taking a finance first approach to achieving all encompassing personal well being by embracing new ways to true wealth in the modern world and exploring diverse paths that open the door to true wealth in every sense. And as a global ambassador for an innovative company revolutionizing the future in real estate through digital technology, through educational technology, through financial technology, I'm deeply committed to empowering individuals and communities worldwide. My mission goes beyond business by providing global minded entrepreneurs and everyday people just like you with new ways to true wealth in the modern world so you can circumvent the systems and go from financial fatigue to financial freedom. And it's really about creating opportunities. And that's what my guests come on board. They are creating opportunities, providing information, providing access, and building a more inclusive and supportive digital world, and where everyone, and I say everyone, has a chance to thrive. The world is changing pretty rapidly. And true wealth is not only about money, it's about the combination of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial fitness. So, with that, myself and my special guests are all about bringing awareness, as I said earlier, around alternative solutions from all aspects, leading one towards a path to overall true wealth. And the mission: provide real solutions for real people who are serious about wanting to go from barely surviving to thriving again. So, before we get started with my special guest today, we're going to take a quick, short commercial break. And for those that are interested, this TV series can be found at mupo.com, or you can actually download the Mupo app, which is on Android as well as the iOS, the iPhone system. So with that, we will be back after this short break with Dr. Terry. Okay, we are back with Dr. Terry Tillaart, who is joining us actually from right up the road from me on the west coast of Florida, and he is in Tampa. And I'm very, very excited to have him on board because his background comes from a naturopathic doctor and Chinese medicine practitioner, which is, as most of you know, very much my cup of tea. And he's a lover of animals and will do just about anything to make their lives easier. He's proud to have been banned on virtually all social media channels for telling the truth. And this is something we spoke about in the green room, which I just found out. So very, very interesting story. I get where he's coming from, but he has a passion for helping people live truly independent, self-sufficient lives by teaching people to fully step outside of the matrix, which is what I have been doing for the last several years, and a major proponent around the decentralization, building parallel institutions for the people and living a permissionless life. And this is where I said earlier about providing real solutions for real people. And just like myself, he's moved into the decentralization environment. And for those that don't know, about decentralization. It's really the distribution of power and control that is being taken away from our broken and corrupt systems, allowing us to have more control and power over our own destinies. And who wouldn't want that? So, with that, I am going to welcome Dr. Terry and thank you for joining the show today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff. And by the way, you looked really good dancing in that blue suit costume. I was impressed.
Oh, that was supposed to be nobody was supposed to know that.
I noticed it in the.
It brought me back to the days when I was dancing with the New York City Jazz Company back in the in those, what was it, the 1980s and 90s.
Well, that's what gave it away.
There you go. There you go. So super. Thank you for joining me today. I know you're a busy dude all over the place and providing a ton of wealth for individuals who want to step out and really embrace this new world that we are in with regards to the technologies that are being developed today that are changing those of us who are aware of it now, changing our lives now, but also for those people who want to jump on board for the future in 3 to 5 to 10 plus years going on. So before we dive into the questions, you were a naturopathic doctor for many years. So what was the catalyst for you to move over into the digital world? But before you answer that, just share a little bit about who you are behind the scenes, outside of your business and, teaching people about this industry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a passionate guy that wants freedom for everybody. I think there's a lot of injustice in the world. I've just always wanted it to be a better place for humans and for animals as well. And
Sure.
so, my passion is always looking for how do we do that? And I think the tech piece kind of comes in. Like the health was a natural thing to me. Without your health, you don't have much of anything.
Right.
And the tech side, I just see the world changing so rapidly. And I realize that technology usually has the power to enslave us or set us free. It's generally speaking been either an equalizing technology or technology that the parasite class will use to further siphon off our energy and make our lives worse. So if we don't navigate it, someone else is planning a future for us we may not like. So we need to get in there and use it for our benefit.
I couldn't agree with you more, and we won't get into details right now, but we see what's going on over the last couple of weeks. A lot of the exposure that's out there, looking at the true state of affairs, if you will. So it's definitely time for change. So with that, what got you what was the catalyst to get you jumping out of that naturopathic career, which that's an incredible career, and that's a major change for flipping over to the digital world. What really excited you specifically about the digital world?
Well, in the health space, it gets a little tiring dealing with people who don't want to change. It's very rewarding when you find someone who does, but when people don't want to take responsibility, they don't stick to plans, they don't want to stick to the program, they want a magic pill. It gets a little bit old. You mentioned cup of tea earlier. Some people complain about drinking Chinese medicine tea. So these kinds of things get a little tiresome. But then I also see this massive revolution. Like one thing that stuck in my burr a lot. One was I had a business largely driven by social media, and then they banned me all over the place. So that's one good catalyst to reinvent yourself. And secondarily, for so many decades, I've been watching and reading about the perils of central banking, and I see what they do. And when cryptocurrencies come along and we have the ability to maybe create a financial system that doesn't have the traditional banksters in the middle, that gets me very excited, because it's like, hey, this is something that's powerful. We can change the world with this. It's the kind of parallel institution that could just change literally everything we've ever known growing up. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it happens with passionate advocates getting behind it, and not until.
Yeah, no, exactly. And there's no guarantees in life, no matter what, and I resonate with you with regards to certain platforms blocking you from a naturopathic perspective, sharing that wisdom, that information, because they're being paid off just like everybody else. So, and there's a lot of scams out there that we all know of, and it doesn't matter. It's scams all over the, across the different arenas that we are living in today. But you know, I'm sure that most of us have experienced one, two, or three in our lifetime. And in the past, there's so much disinformation around blockchain technology, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, as you just spoke about, real world assets. And I believe this is really starting to change now. And what has been your experience around this, and what can you share with the viewers to embrace this new digital revolution, especially with, well, let's start with that first.
Yeah, I mean, for those who are familiar with the concept of the Overton window, I mean, it has changed big time. Like all of a sudden, crypto's becoming a mainstream conversation. You got JP Morgan, you've got presidents, you've got countries, you've got states within countries starting to put cryptocurrencies in their reserves. And I've been trying to tell
Mhm.
people for years, including family who are like, oh, I don't know about all that. It's coming no matter what. It's got double
Exactly.
the adoption rate of cell phones and the internet. You might as well embrace it quick and get in front of it. There's no way it's not going to happen. So you're either going to be on the good side of it or on a disadvantaged side of it. And we don't want that for you. We want you to
Right.
see the big trends that are coming, get in front of it and position yourself. Now, if you knew a tsunami was coming, would you want to get hit by it, or would you want to be riding the wave with your
Right.
surfboard on top? Right. It's kind of how I think about it.
Exactly. And that tsunami is here in 2025. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I was in that situation, and I share my story. In 2009, I was approached to purchase 500 Bitcoin at point zero zero 0.0017 cents, 85-cent investment. My response was, no, that's a scam. So my whole thinking is turned around on that. Even though I got scammed in the for my very first project, but we live and learn, and that's part of the journey. It's about getting the right information, being connected with the right people like you and others who have that knowledge and can share that knowledge. Is what you're doing, what I'm doing now, and which is very exciting. So getting into the, we talk I talk about the previous administration. They did not have an open heart for decentralization. Why? Because we know why, because they don't have the control. And so and that's another for another interview. But today our current administration really embraces these new technologies of today, because they really understand how they are changing the world, and they are here and they're going to stay. I mean, blockchain technology came out in 2009, and here we are, it's 2025. 16 years later, and I'm sure it was there before 2009 when it was introduced, because it was being developed. But with that being said, um, where do you see this really going in the future? Because I said earlier, it's about the technologies that are being developed today that are going to revolutionize and change the world in 3 to 5 to 10 years plus down the road. And it's, as we always know, it's the early birds who always get the bigger worms. So where do you see this going from the years that you've been involved with this, and you've been involved with it more than I have, and seeing that evolution of change and growth, especially now in 2025 being the bull market run.
Yeah, I think people need to understand first that technology cycles move for adoption wise about 17 years, right? And you just pointed out like we are on the cusp of that. There's no changing that. And so please embrace it. And you're going to see dramatic changes. It's possible that we move entirely into cryptocurrencies. Now, there are
Right.
certain elements in our society that want you to only use the ones that they can control. And there are other ones that are built for your freedom. And I, of course, encourage you to choose and support those who are built for your freedom. I've been a community educator, if you will, and spokesperson for several crypto projects. I've spoken at crypto conferences in Miami, in Acapulco, and I do a lot of community education online. We're also I'm on the board of directors for a cloud. So everyone's heard of the cloud. There's lots of cloud, but there's small private clouds that are built for your freedom. And we also have a cryptocurrency token backed by the business model of cryptocurrency.
Mhm.
So I point that out to say that real world assets, when people say, yeah, well, what's crypto backed by? Well, that's all changing. It's all backed and
Yes.
supported by real world businesses and assets. So that's one of the mega trends that you want to get yourself in front of. And then, I always encourage everyone to explore the private cryptocurrencies, those who are trying to restore financial privacy to us, because that's
Right.
been taken away. They now on TV, they just giggle about the fact they're using AI to spy on your bank account. It's not okay. It's not right. There's a reason why you have shower doors, bathroom doors, curtains on your windows. Privacy does matter. They try to indoctrinate us almost into this world where it does, trying to get you used to, like the boiling frog, right? Used to the idea that there is no privacy, but your cell phone taking pictures of you without your consent is not okay, and it's happening all the time. But
Exactly.
so the digital world's changing. You've got to protect your privacy. And if you know that cryptocurrencies are going to be the future, like we're only at a $2-3 trillion market cap. What happens if it's a quadrillion? Because we're going
Right.
there. We're going
We're
there. We're
going
going
there.
there. And we're going to go into probably multi-quadrillion size markets. And you still have the opportunity today. You may not be in at the beginning like Jeff in Bitcoin in your story, but we're still early enough that you can get in here and really change your financial future. But ignoring it, pretending it's not going to happen is not going to end well for you. You're going to be very disadvantaged. And
Yes.
but you can give yourself a lot of advantages right now if you get serious about it.
I couldn't agree with you more. And, I shared that in 2017 is when the word cryptocurrency really started to come across my feeds more and more. And I'm like, something's going on here. I think I need to step into my uncomfortable zone and start checking this out. And it is a learning curve. It definitely is. But, if you don't learn, you're not going to grow with that, and you're going to be left in the dust. And Terry talked about real world assets, and this is what I'm involved with. Real world assets, for those that don't know, it's like, well, let's just go to cryptocurrency, because my first project was a cryptocurrency. It had no tangible physical attribute to it. You couldn't touch it, you couldn't feel it, and it's out there in crypto world. Well, real world assets are tangible things. That it's real estate, it's jewelry, it's cars, it's homes, things like that. And that's what I am working on right now in multiple projects with real estate, which is a token that is backed by a fraction of that real estate where you're getting dividends from. Or we're just releasing a new educational AI metaverse. And it's backed by Amazon. It's backed by it's accredited by Microsoft and Amazon Web Services, and they've donated money, and it's getting global recognition. So that's a tangible item when you have the goggles, the Meta Glass, the Meta 3 goggles, and the affiliates of these schools who are actually coming on board and participating in this metaverse from an educational perspective. So these are things that are going to be down in the future, and education is changing, and real estate is changing, and finances are changing. So it's better to jump on board and start learning it now, because your grandkids will probably never see a dollar bill or a quarter or a dime or a nickel, because they're already talking about getting rid of the pennies. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and that was just a little quick snippet because we just got back from wrapped up at the LEAP tech event in Saudi Arabia with this platform, this educational platform. It's getting amazing, amazing reviews. So if anybody is out there wants to check it out, please reach out to me. But Terry, I mentioned earlier about the 2025, the bull market run, and I know what that means. You know what that means, but share your vision, especially we talked a little bit about before, but specifically when we have the, David Sachs is the AI crypto czar, this is an appointed position that we've never, ever, ever had. And now with Paul Atkins as the SEC chairman, What is your insight to these two gentlemen being in the forefront of this bull market run to start this evolution moving forward with this administration over the next 4 years?
Well, I think the first and biggest clue is, even if people don't know the individual, is just the fact that, like you said, there's never been a position about it. If you don't think this is going mainstream and we're not here at the adoption inflection point, I don't know what other clues you need. Like, we are there. And when bull runs happen, markets move in predictable cycles. Markets move in fits and spurts. They don't just move in straight, slow, linear climbs. When they rocket off, they rocket off. And we are, it's not guaranteed. Hashtag not financial advice. I'm just asking you to pay attention and get
Yep.
educated. But the time is like right now, because I think the real bull cycle will happen in 2025. That's what should happen. And when it does, it's going to be nuclear. Like when those markets go crazy, I saw it in the last bull run, like watching your wallet balance go up by astronomical figures every day, by more than an annual salary. You start to scratch your head and say, what is happening here? And you just have to be plugged in, because it doesn't always last, right? And there's
That's
a
right.
time to get in and a time to get out and a time to re-enter. And if you don't kind of catch that to some degree, you don't need to be a professional trader, but you're just going to miss it. You're going to get people who are going to generate real wealth in a short time frame, and you're going to be left out if you're not paying attention. And that's just tragic.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So you talked about teaching. You're teaching. You have a course on about protecting your assets. You talked about these different programs that have your data and protecting your identity, along with understanding your privacy. Your own privacy. So share with our viewers the importance that the digital world that we live in. That this is an absolute must, especially today. You talked about Google grabbing all of your information. Well, and they're talking about the information being pulled out from what's happening today. But Facebook and TikTok and all of these platforms have your information. So what's the big deal here? It is what it is. But share the importance of people to start really understanding about protecting your assets, protecting your identity, as well as the importance of privacy matters.
Yeah, I think that the thing to understand is, I saw a report come out recently. They're saying that even with teenagers, they've got people who have over 70 million data points on a teenager. And I get that most people use their phone as a toy, but it's not a toy anymore. You do your banking on there. You exchange private, personal information on there. You send your passwords. We've been talking a lot about AI today. What people don't understand now is, and we've been here for a lot longer than they're going to acknowledge, but there is what's called client-side AI. Client-side AI simply means that there's AI on your personal device sending out unpermissioned data you did not consent to, aka taking screenshots of everything you do. So when you type in a password, you type in your crypto seed words, that phone has an AI bot capturing it and transmitting it and sending it out to big databases that end up on the dark web, that end up in data brokers' hands. And there's been, so many data breaches, but this thing is your real identity. It's also your bank account now. And if you're in crypto, isn't it kind of like your bank? It is your bank. And
It
you,
is.
unfortunately, love it or hate it, need to be very, very diligent about getting privacy respecting devices, using privacy respecting apps. And I'll just leave it at this for those who are interested. Right now, I just did a course, and that link on below is deeply discounted for a private community. And I'm extending that offer to Jeff's community. It's going to end in February, and it's going to cost a whole lot more money. So if you are thinking about it, but when you hear about identity theft, like, where do you think it happens? It's not a random occurrence. Like, it's because people are able to get so much personal information from you online so easily, in so many ways that you have not even considered. Like, we send private stuff by email, and email is deeply and wholly flawed and insecure. It's very insecure. A teenager could learn to hack into a Gmail account in one afternoon on the internet. that's not a good thing for you to be having private data out there. So I'll leave it at that. But for those who are interested, it's important to deal with.
No, absolutely. And I did take Terry's first course, and I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm going to be going into his second one as well. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. You can go to the, to the link that was on there and get that information, because his email address is on there as well. You can reach out to him, but highly recommend that you start getting educated on this, because there's going to be more security issues moving forward. So with that, just as we're kind of wrapping up here, if there were one thing or one piece of nugget that you could inspire that the viewer that's watching this at this particular moment, that is really looking to level up from a personal or even a business or both, from that kind of a perspective, what would that be with the nuggets the valuable nuggets that you shared with us today?
I would say this. I would say that a whole lifetimes of work can be completely overshadowed by you getting in front of one mega trend, right? If you got into Netflix in the early days, if you got into Apple when it was a penny stock, if you got into Bitcoin in the beginning, your whole lifetime's worth of work would be dwarfed by how much impact getting in front of one mega trend could have done for you. That inflection point of mass adoption for cryptocurrency, real world assets, especially in cryptocurrency. I'm not talking about, funny meme coins with dog with hat and fart coin. I'm not promoting that. I'm talking about the real tangible projects. If you get in front of some of these, they could dramatically alter your life. And I would just say that if you did decide to do that, at the end of the day, you don't want to have all those gains on your screen evaporate because you weren't respecting your digital life, which has become, your new identity. You've got to protect yourself. No one's going to do it for you. Thieves are lurking everywhere. The World Economic Forum says we want you to own nothing and be happy. Make sure that's not you, because some of us will not have that fate. Many, unfortunately, will.
Right. No, perfectly stated. That's excellent. And I strongly, agree with that. And people need to, wake up to the true state of affairs. And we have to become CEOs of our own lives now. We've got mentors out there. We've got like financial planners and accountants and things like that. But we need to be, I would say, more on top of it rather than 100% relying on them, because so many people end up losing in the long run. So with that, I want to bring this up here real quick. Terry talked about real world assets. And I mentioned earlier that I'm a global ambassador for an international digital real estate ownership company. And we are expanding now in the U.S. market. And we're working with the SEC. We're working with industry experts. We've just announced a 24 to 36 month roadmap going IPO with one of our products. And it's amazing because we're going to be using both the centralized and the decentralized with regards to this. And having this roadmap and an IPO announcement gives us really great clout. We're getting global recognition with regards to decentralization, real world assets. You've got the digital real estate ownership. I own a lot of real estate in that space as well. Metaverse, along with everything else. So if you are interested, just scan that QR code, because I do 5 monthly webinars, and I share what's going on and how our assets are increasing, especially during this 2025 run, with regards to the bull market that's happening today. And holistic true wealth is about balance and harmony across all disciplines that I embrace and I teach. Same with Terry. It's about that holistic experience, and we want to be able to thrive and live in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And by embracing this holistic approach, we can achieve a state of well-being that is sustainable and fulfilling, leading us to live our best lives. So with that, I want to thank Terry for taking the time from your busy schedule for coming on board today and sharing again some amazing information. I mean, there's probably another 10 or 15 interviews that we could do to just expand from what you've got going on and what you're sharing and the courses that you're teaching around this amazing platform that we call blockchain technology. So with that, we'll see you on the next round. Take care. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thought I was playing? Huh. Thought I was playing? Huh.